Hey guys, welcome in. So finally, I'm getting to the order block video that everyone has been asking. Everyone's always asking how I use order blocks. They always see my entries and are always curious how I use them. So basically, there are two different types of order blocks that I see in the markets, especially even after learning, more of, ICT concepts. So I just want to go over those with you today. I'm going to go over how I use them to get kind of a daily bias with FEGs, how I use them on like the hourly and the 15-minute chart to kind of gauge like intraday bias, and then going down to like the 5 and the 1 minute chart where we can use them off either 50% or to get entries off full reversals off some kind of liquidity sweep. So with that said, let's stop talking and let's get right into it. So we'll start here with the NQ. We'll go with NQ1 in case we have to back test or go back any farther here. But basically, your best. So there's going to be two different kinds of order blocks in this in the market. There's going to be reversal order blocks, and there's going to be like order flow order blocks. So your reversal order blocks are going to be the ones that form off reversals. I mean, it's not a very hard concept. And then they're going to be your ones such as this one down here, or up here, the ones that sweep liquidity. The candles that sweep liquidity are going to turn out to be your best order blocks, especially for reversals. And then your order flow order blocks are going to be the ones that just form inside of a trend. As long as we're closing above down candles in an uptrend, we still know the order flow is bullish, and then vice versa for downtrends. So you see here, so like so we know we've had this big series of down candles, and those that know me are like, okay, I see all these down candles. This is what I'm going to expect, at least some kind of retracement, 50% or whatever. But so once we get a candle close above here, our higher time frame bias has changed here. Let's keep these. Let's just stick with black. Makes it a little easier to see. But so obviously this whole time you see down candle. All these down candles are just showing us that we're not getting any up candles that are closing above. We finally get one here, and like we know time is fractal, right? So I use when I go down to the 5 and the 1 minute, I like to use the mean threshold and use the body close under. Obviously, this is a daily. We would not take a trade, but I like to use this. So like if I like to use since the body is so big, I just like to use the body here, and we'll go with the mean threshold. I would enter at the open, and I would and my stop would be like underneath the mean threshold of that order block. So but in this case, we're on the daily chart. So I see we get a daily close above here. I'm no longer bullish, or I'm no longer bearish on the higher time frame, right? We have a change in the state of a delivery. I expect some kind of retest of it, and then higher prices to like 50% or the next target, the next daily FEG, or the next higher time frame PD array, or liquidity level that makes sense for a price to draw to. Maybe there's a 4 hour FEG, or there's some kind of equal highs. You guys get the point here. Actually, if we go to our current chart, you see we're in like July 1st here. You see here we had 50% down, right? We had 50% down here to here, and what do you see we get? So remember what I always say: anything off 50% can be treated just like a liquidity sweep. If we get some kind of change in a state of delivery or an order block off of 50%, that's good for an entry, because we know price returns to discount and returns to premium, and then we can look for order blocks off of that. So you see here, once we deliver off 50% and we finally get a close over this daily order block, I'm no longer bearish. A lot of people wanted to short here, but and then you see close over. We've now held So let's draw out the mean threshold, and this is why the mean threshold's my stop. Look here, 2 days now we have held this. So showing us price wants to go higher. You don't want to be shorting into a daily or order block. So that's why it's just on the daily time frames. You always want to be aware of your daily order blocks and where they are. Um, the same here. Like you see, we're still in this bearish daily up here, right? Uh, this one's took out. It's already took a bunch of highs down down here. It's not the best one because it's not the candle that actually swept the high, but still we closed below it, and you still see how 50% is still holding here on this one. If we just move our things here, look how we haven't had a body close over the over the mean threshold of that order block. So we're right now currently we're just stuck between the mean threshold of a bearish OB and a daily OB, and that's why we're getting a lot of chop right now in the current markets, depending on when you watch this video. Um, so and then you see like so those are your like your reversal type order blocks. Those are the ones that hit 50% or take a low or a high, and then like this one here would be like an order flow in order flow or order block. You're in an uptrend, you know, and then you have two down candles, but then you get more candles that end up closing back above those down candles. That's an order flow or order block telling you price then wants to continue higher. And then you kind of have the same thing here. You see, this is not the best example of an order block because it's just a small doji. You like to see order blocks be nice and thick. Um, you like the bigger the body, the better. But you still see the same concept here. Down candle, we close above it, boom, and then I like to use the open of the candle as an entry just because it keeps the risk reward better. And look at there, boom, right off that order block higher. So it's an order flow order block telling us price then wants to continue higher. If we get a down candle here, say this candle isn't green and we close below these two, then I'm expect lower prices. And then what? So okay, let's pretend uh, this candle's a down candle. What do you guys see below that price would then want to deliver to? If we get a change in the state of delivery here, price is telling us that it wants to move lower. I'm My bias automatically turns to this daily FVG. We have a bunch of we have some LRLR here. There's probably like hourly and 4 hour LR here, and then you see the next target is the daily VI and the daily FVG as well as what 50%, right? Back to this daily order block. Order blocks tend to be just like FVGs. They tend to be a draw on price. So that's pretty much how I use them. Like on like a daily time frame, you always must know where they are because you still don't want to be taking 5 and 15 minute order block plays that are going against the current order block, right? Like if you're in a bearish one, you don't want to be looking for longs, right? And moving on to like hourly and 15 minutes to kind of get like an intraday bias. I mean, it's the same concept as the daily. We're just using a smaller time frame, guys. So we're looking for some kind of liquidity sweep. I have noticed that. I mean, it obviously makes sense if there is an SMT and you get an order block, then it's just as good as an inverse or an FVG that forms two, right? We can still expect some kind of reversal. Just thought I wanted to get that out there. So here we see this SMT form, right at London low, right? London low it takes this previous day low, and then you see we have these two down candles. A lot of people, this is a big controversy in the ICT world. A lot of people will only count an order block if both of these candles get closed over. All I'm looking for is one. I've seen plenty of times where, okay, this can become an order block because even if this is like an FEG and we're closing inside of it, that's still not a bearish sign that we're closing inside of the FEG. And this is still an order block. This is the down candle that went after the lows. You see, and then we close above it. But in this case, we obviously close over both. You see, we get we get the 50% retrace right to the high of the order block. We don't even get the retest here, but since we closed over both, um, this is where I'm not going to enter here, right? Our stop's going to be 80 points here. But as long as we wake up in the morning, it's 7, 8, 9 o'clock here, right at open. So this was actually your 9:30 Judas swing. You had your power of three, right? Boom, boom, boom. But just crazy to see like all these concepts play out. Just wanted to throw that out there. Um, so obviously 50% here. We have a dealing range, right? We close we take a low, we take a high, we get 50%. We have an order block here. So I'm automatically with the SMT because ES did not take this low. So I'm already coming into the day with a bullish bias, at least probably up to this hourly FEG, and in this case, I think we had a daily FEG above. I'm afraid to do this. That's why. I think yeah. Okay, so we had the daily FEG above. So I'm like, okay, well, if we're gonna hold this, and I knew as I showed you guys a little bit ago, we knew that we were delivering off daily 50%, and what else, we also had the daily. So you see how all this stuff kind of like comes into the picture here. So we get a daily uh order block, and then on the dips down here we get an hourly OB to also confirm that we still want to be bullish. And then you see we push higher. We have two down candles in here. We then close above, and then what? So we have the reversals. Reversals then turn into order flow ones, and then you see these two candles get closed above. Look how price comes back. Order, like I said, I will say it again. Order blocks like to be rebalanced just as much as fair value gaps. Remember that. And then in this case, like I'm gonna be bullet. Like I'm seeing these hourly order blocks. I think if we go to the 4 hour, I think it was a 4 hour too. So you see, we end up getting a 4 hour here. We actually came back and retested this one as well. But we'll go back to the hourly here. Uh, so you see reversal one, and then we get in order flow order block off of the reversal one. This turns into a prop block. Now everybody's like, what's a prop block? Well, a prop block, because I get SS a ton, is just an order block that gets formed off of the tap of the previous order block. So you have order block here, and then you have this candle dug down into here, which then sent us higher. So this order block sends us higher, close above here. You then expect expansion from this second order block. So just look at it as a second order block. If a prop block or propulsion block is what it actually called, is too difficult to understand. Just look, an order block that forms off another order block, you then expect expansion. It's really that simple, guys. So like if I'm looking at this though, and I wake up and I see us displacing off of this, and I know the daily is also bullish, and I see this, I'm obviously only going to be looking for longs today, and then this is where I go, okay, well I see the hourly's this. Okay, now I'm gonna go to the 4 hour in the daily and see where price can go to, and I see the daily FEG up here, right? So then what do you see? Oh, we come all the way up here. We sweep all these highs, right? This candle right here sweeps these highs. And we're like, oh no, we're not going to get that daily FVG. How do we know we're not going to get that daily FVG? When this candle right here gets closed below. We close below it with this candle right here. And then look what happens. Price comes back up into the open of this order block. And then boom, look at that. And then what else do you see? Just a little extra nugget here. 50% back up. So now we're at 50%, and this is how I enter most of the time on the 5 and the 1 minute. We'll get there, but this is a good example because time is fractal. Look at all this. Let's clean up the charts a minute here. So you guys see all this. You guys see how the order flow ones in. You see how the order flow ones worked here too, right? We eventually get a close over this down candle. First of all, this one gets retested. This one gets retested right here. I don't think this one really gets retested, but you still see we close above. the hourly FEG holds. We never get the test of it. Another tap above. We hold here to send us higher. Just look how these, as long as we are still closing above down candles, we're still bullish here. So, and you guys know you can. That's how you stay in trades on the 1 and the 5 minute as well. Because if you guys watched the recent short as well, it described that. So now you see we know we're at hourly 50%, and we know we have an obvious higher time frame draw above in that daily BPR, right? So now we're looking for any order block formed off. We want to this candle hit 50%. So now we're looking for a candle close above. This candle barely closed above. It's kind of a mohawk. So I would want to see a little bit more of a close, but I would still like if we get a bullish reaction off of it, because we still close over it. It's just barely. But you see, we finally do, and then you guys see we obviously get the move here. And once we get this, you see what prop block. Prop block forms here, right off this order block, expansion, strong expansion right up. And then what? We turn right into order flow or order blocks. You see, we get a close above this. That's not what I wanted. You see, we get a close above here. Look how price respects the wick of that order block. Comes back down to the open of that order block, and then off we go. And then just the same thing, right? And notice, notice here, right? We have this big up candle. So obviously we pushed a little bit higher because we ended up going up to a 4-hour BPR, just a bit higher. And we have this order block here. But look how this order block held. And then the other thing to take note of is even if we get close to closing below an up candle, and we do not, that is your ultimate sign that price wants to continue higher. When price fails to give you an order block but looks close, like it looks like it's going to, then we usually continue higher. And what I'm talking about is this. Look how price almost closes below here, and the bodies respect the low of that candle, and then we push back up higher, right? And then this candle close above here, we get a little retest of it, it holds a while, and then boom, we go up to that BPR, and then the whole process starts all over again, right? So now we're looking at, boom, order block formed here. Price digs up into the wick of it. Also, always pay attention to the CE of the wick of order blocks and all the wicks, because CEs are big draws and price likes to respect that as well. So that, guys, that's pretty much. And then notice here, we never get a close over the high of this candle. Price ends up rejecting, even though we inversed this 4-hour. We still never made an order block. And the same concept over here, where it didn't give us an order block, so we went higher. Didn't give us an order block here off the lows of all of this, and then we push back lower. So that's that, guys. So let's just do a quick look at like a 5-minute and 1-minute entries, and we will wrap up this video. And then just to show you guys like a 5 and a 1-minute entry, maybe we can look for another one. You guys know anything off 50% is my bread and butter in this market. It's what pays the bills for me. Like if I had one setup that I could use the rest of my life, maybe it's my one setup for life. But my favorite would have to be a 1-minute OB or a 2-minute OB off of 50%, as long as I know the higher time frame bias is still like either above me or below me. So here we have this is actually a trade that I took, and we alerted this in the groups. So this is what I seen, right? So I'm like, okay, I feel like we should come up and take all of these highs, because I've seen all this liquidity up here. If we go down to the 15, you can kind of see we had relative equal highs up here. We had all of these highs, and we were going back for all-time highs, right? And I could see we were looking like we were ready to put in a bullish hour or order block on the 4-hour, as well as we had closed below all these hourly candles. So these were all telling us price wanted to go higher. Plus we had all these wicks bouncing off the lower wick, right? So we had a wick down here, boom. So at this point, I'm bullish. even after we sweep these highs, right? We sweep these highs, but I still think all-time highs are the draw here based on what the higher time frame structure looks like. So that's the biggest thing to take from here. Whenever you're on the 5 in the 1 minute, you still want to be in alignment with that higher time frame bias, because then obviously your trades are going to work much easier. But you guys know that. So this is what I seen. It is lunchtime here. We're kind of choppy, but we sweep this low, we sweep these equal lows, I should say. We get a 5 minute order block above. Best case is we come back down and tap it, but we don't. When I see like we got a 5 minute BPR here, and then the bread and butter comes in discount. We tap discount here, and I said, okay, watch 50% here. I'm gonna take a 1 minute, oh yeah, 1 minute OB if we get it off of here. So we go down to the 1 minute, and what do you see? So 50% sits here, and I see this, and I see, oh, we close over here. The best part about OBs is they make your risk reward that much better. So like going up, getting an FEG or getting an inverse, they can be great entries. I absolutely utilize them too. But sometimes you're waiting way up here, and you could have entered on the order block here. So the way I look at it is, yeah, or order blocks might be a little more risky, but the risk reward is small and much better for entering down here rather than entering up here when you're in a premium, just in case your higher time frame bias is wrong, and then price, comes up, you get the inverse, or the FEG doesn't deliver, and then we slice back through, right? So you see we get the order block here, and so I'm like, okay, this, and I entered here, and then obviously we rode it all the way up, and that's the other thing on like 1 minute or order blocks like this. I will, like on small ones like this, as long as the entry is the stop is still okay, I will enter, and like we get like a close over it that's not like sky high. I will not wait for the retest of that order block, and I will just enter as soon as we get that order block. So your best entries, and as long as you're okay, which you should be, of price going without you, wait for the retest. But sometimes we don't always get it, and I was just confident in the setup. You'll get that with screen time. It just comes with screen time. Like you'll just know, like, okay, I know where we're delivering from. We got a 5 minute BPR here. We got 50% higher time frame draw is still bullish here. This should work. So and then you see, obviously, we're going to end up delivering up to the highs here, and then we ended up taking profit up at this high, and obviously scaling on the way up. But so that's like just how my favorite is off 50%. I mean, we can sweep a low too, right? We can sweep a low, like we did here. And if you're still bullish for all-time highs, we sweep liquidity, because we know, even if we know the hard time frame draw, we're still going to take some 5 and 15 minute lows. But that's your time. That's your time to strike. So if you look here, like this is the same day, 10:30 in the morning. Still possible reversal time. You see, we get a sweep, we get a close over the last down candle, retap, and then off we go. Obviously, this is all hindsight, but look how many times it works, guys. Takes a high. We don't get an order block here. Takes this high again, or order block. There's no retest here. You would just have to get into it. Like I said, you're going against what you think is the trend. So I mean, if you take it, great. I mean, it's an order block that forms an FEG, so we know that those are also high probability order blocks. If you haven't seen that video, I will link it in the description below. I recommend you go check out that one next. Basically, the basis of that is, it's kind of like this. Boom, we make an order block here, right? This candle closes below this one. When you make an FEG with the order block, it makes that order block that much more high probability. And that's all I'll leave. Go watch the video and enjoy. But with that, so I guess we'll wrap it up here, guys. I think I covered everything that I said I was going to. The biggest thing is just align it with your higher your higher time frame bias, and you should excel. So I recommend go back test this, Tell me what you guys find in your back testing in the description below. I will also link the high probability order block setup, which can keep you taking only the best order blocks possible. These two videos kind of go hand in hand. And with that, we will catch you guys next time.